You probably recognize this feeling immediately, even if you've never actually put it into words. You're doing everything right. Not perfectly, maybe, and not always brilliantly, but correctly. You show up, you put in the work, you take ownership. You don't drop the ball, you don't flake, and you definitely don't complain. But at some point, you catch yourself leaning against the kitchen counter at 11 p.m. with a single nagging thought. Why isn't this getting any easier? It's not like your life suddenly took a nosedive. It's not a catastrophe. It's just heavier. A slow, invisible accumulation of weight that happened so gradually you didn't even notice the shift. You didn't get lazy. You didn't get stupid. In fact, it's usually the opposite. You became more mature, more reliable, more predictable. You became the person everyone can count on. And that is exactly why the world started piling more onto your shoulders. At first, it feels like trust. Then, it feels like recognition. And eventually, it just becomes the status quo. You start doing a little extra, then a little more, until that extra becomes your permanent operating mode. And that's when you hit the most dangerous trap of all. See, for a long time, effort actually worked. That's why you bought into it. That's why you're still living this way. In the world this script was written for, discipline was a rare commodity. Showing up meant you were already ahead. Reliability made you stand out. Stability was the prize, not the cage. If you were the one who didn't disappear when things got tough, you were automatically in the top 10%. But that world is gone. The script, however, remained. Today, trying hard isn't a competitive advantage. It's the baseline. Everyone is grinding. Everyone is reachable 24/7. Everyone is exhausted. If everyone is doing the exact same thing, effort stops being a ladder. It just becomes the electricity that keeps the machine running. You're not moving forward. You're just keeping yourself from being deleted. The operating system you were taught to live by hasn't been updated in decades. It keeps whispering the same old lies. Work harder, be patient, play it safe, wait your turn. The problem is, the modern world doesn't pay for patience anymore. It doesn't reward waiting. It rewards rarity. It rewards asymmetry. It rewards the people who are willing to step outside the lines. But you weren't trained for that. You were trained to be useful. And being useful means being predictable. Being predictable means being safe for the system. And being safe makes you replaceable. There's a deep internal conflict here that most people never realize. This script made you a good person, responsible, dependable, the one who doesn't quit. People like that are indispensable, but only as long as they don't get in the way. You know how to carry the weight. You know how to handle the pressure. And because you're so good at it, the pressure just keeps flowing toward you. No one asks if this is actually good for you. No one checks to see where this path is leading. The system exploits your threshold for pain. The worst part isn't even the burnout. It's that you've started to call it normal. You tell yourself, this is just adulthood, or this is what responsibility looks like. You stop asking why it's so heavy, and you definitely stop asking the most important question of all. Where is this actually leading me? Smart, disciplined people are the most vulnerable to this. They don't rebel when things get hard. They don't walk out in a fit of rage. They do something much more dangerous. They analyze. They assume the friction is internal. They think, maybe I just need better habits. Maybe I need to wake up at 5 a.m. Maybe I need a more aggressive productivity system. They buy another planner, download another app, and try to squeeze more blood from the stone. They spend years polishing the wrong surface. It's like running as fast as you can on a treadmill and convincing yourself that you're traveling. You're sweating. Your lungs are burning. You are exhausted. But the scenery never changes. Instead of questioning the direction, you tell yourself, I just need to try harder. It sounds noble. It sounds responsible. It feels like the adult thing to do. But in reality, it's just a way to protect the structure that's keeping you stuck. Because questioning your effort is easy. Questioning your entire direction is terrifying. The script doesn't trap you with fear. It traps you with logic. You explain your situation in very reasonable terms. Now isn't the right time to change. I have obligations. I need more clarity first. Each explanation makes perfect sense on its own, but together, they create a lifetime of postponement. Time passes quietly. A year, then 3, then 5. Nothing collapses. The bills get paid, the work gets done, but nothing truly expands either. You're functioning, you're busy, and from the outside, you look successful. But there's a subtle friction you can't ignore anymore. Energy goes out, but the return feels thin. You're doing important things, but they don't feel essential. You are active, but you are misaligned. And right there, the script offers its favorite solution again. Work harder. There's nothing wrong with effort. Effort builds skill. Effort builds character. But when the problem is direction, more effort just deepens the rut. Imagine flooring the gas pedal while the car is in neutral. The engine screams, the fuel burns, but you are going nowhere. Change starts looking irresponsible. You think about what you could lose: the income, the status, the version of yourself that everyone else expects to see. You've spent so much time building this stable, reliable identity that stability has become your prison. Eventually, you start defending the very rules that limit you. You call caution wisdom. You call risk recklessness. You tell yourself that ambition is for the naive. Underneath all that logic, there's a quiet tension. It's not a fear of being poor. It's a fear of stepping outside the role. Inside the script, everything is clear. You know the rules. You know what people want from you. The future, even if it doesn't excite you, is predictable. Outside of it, there's uncertainty. And for a disciplined mind, uncertainty feels like a threat. If nothing changes despite your relentless effort, the limit is not you. It's the structure you're loyal to. You haven't hit your personal ceiling. You've hit the ceiling of the pattern you're following. The same habits that built your stability are now quietly preventing your expansion. And this is the turning point. When effort no longer shifts results, doubling down isn't strength. It's a signal. It's a signal that you are refining a strategy that has already expired. Not because you're incapable, but because you stayed loyal to a system that stopped evolving long ago. Awareness doesn't demand that you blow up your life overnight. It doesn't require a dramatic resignation or a chaotic move. It starts with a question that the script hates more than anything. If I continue exactly like this, where do I actually arrive? Not, how do I get through this week? Or, how do I finish this project? But, Where does this version of me end? If the answer is a flat line, if the image of yourself 5 years from now looks exactly like today, just more tired, then you have to realize that functioning is not the same as growing. You've proven you can survive. You've proven you can endure. That was never the issue. The real challenge is realizing that the world doesn't reward you with freedom for being a good soldier. It just rewards you with more weight. You aren't trapped by your circumstances. You are trapped by your competence. You are too good at managing a life that is too small for you. So stop looking for better habits. Stop optimizing your burnout. Stop trying to fix yourself within a framework that was never designed to let you win. The strategy that kept you safe is the same one that's keeping you contained. Safe is not the same as free. The script ends when you decide that being reliable isn't a high enough price for your potential. Clarity doesn't come from more work. It comes from the uncomfortable honesty of looking at your trajectory and admitting, this is not where I want to end up. And whether you like the answer or not, that is where the real conversation begins.